the rise of purpose-driven strategy, hype or reality. So I'll just give you a small intro to what do we mean by a purpose-driven strategy. So the purpose-driven strategy primarily is that prioritizes the company's values and impacts over profit, right? So profit is not the main goal, but so profits have to be there, but the main goal is the purpose-driven strategy. Now, purpose in itself can be divided into two. One is authentic purpose, which is genuine and sustained actions that positively impact the society, the stakeholders, and the organization. And the second one is performative purpose, something that which is intended to impress others, prove something, but it may not be true. Right. So would really love to hear your thoughts on that. How are the organizations of today taking this purpose on? So the topic once again, rise of purpose-driven strategy, a hype or reality. So over to you, whoever wants to start first.
One is what we say in public domain to look good. And the other part is actually what we do in terms of action.
Correct.
And so far, I guess we have enough precedent in terms of selective few corporates who actually have really valued themselves to their principles than just chasing profits. So for example, I mean, this is an example I'm pretty sure everybody would have quoted in their own lifetime to everybody is Tata's. You pick up any Tata group company, the first thing the moment Tata is said, the first thing you will not think that they are one of the most profitable companies in the world, but actually the one who really values humans and ethics over anything and everything. And Mr. Ratan Tata has already lived with that example for the longest period of time, which is anyways there. So point being that if one has to start with Tata, and you might like to add another two names, then what happens after that is the real question mark. So if one has to look at any corporate, they would put those purpose in terms of their CSR activities or supporting the green. I think sometimes it's all about adapting what is there in trend. So for that purpose, I'd say it becomes more of a hype. Whether you would like to walk the talk, it comes back to the boardroom discussion. Where is your growth and profits? And the moment it is coming back on that same point, then your other things are always getting compromised, and there is always a justification for that why that is now secondary, because your primary goal as a private limited or public limited company is profits.
So are you trying to say that the leader drives the purpose-driven strategy or, the other aspects? Is that one of the points? That
I think so. When you are making a business, it's very clear what exactly are you going after, right? Every business, of course, looks for a profit, but it cannot be the only sole goal.
Yeah.
It has to support with some kind of other activity, which eventually comes to the human being principles.
Correct.
So what we are right now discussing is not something whether you should have a choice. It is a part of the business. So that is the bigger difference when we are talking about from the hype to...
Very nice point, right? But is it a reality? Or is it more of a hype, less of a reality? Or somebody would like to pick that up?
So let me answer this. I mean, I would say the companies in India, you can actually count on fingers how many really demonstrate this part rather than looking at the profit. I mean, in the real sense. A lot of other companies use it as a brand enhancement point.
Correct.
I am green, I am sustainable and all that. I mean, that's fine. I mean, nobody is going to question that. But if you really look at, I would name three companies. One is Tata's, obviously has been taken up. Second is Mahindra's. And third to an extent is Godrej. Because why I'm saying this, because I dealt with them in the boardroom and I know what is the direction they are giving to the business leaders, right? That doesn't mean, I mean, so to an extent, so the CSR thing came only maybe 4 or 5 years back. So what these companies also used to do was they have their own foundation which is supporting a lot of, growth and human welfare and those kind of things. But I am very clear that in these three boardrooms, I have been very categorically said, we need profit, but not at the cost of purpose. So I am not saying that they are not corrupt, they don't do underhand dealing and all. That's fine. That's the cost of doing business in the country. But today, if you have to, put your thumb on three companies and say, out of the 10 companies, which are the 3 companies you will bet on? I think these are the 3 names that comes up.
Very few have authentic purpose.
Yes.
The others have a performative purpose, probably.
It's a
Most of-
performative purpose. It's a lip sync. To an extent, I would say it's a lip sync.
Professor, probably it's a very apt topic where, as an organization, we're getting into the journey of a purpose-led strategy being carved out. And when we are going through this journey, we are actually looking at companies that had evolved in this, where they started as a product-led company. They had a purpose at point of time. Some of them had been successfully able to make that happen. Some of them have failed in it. So when we take a look back, we are from a consumer durable industry, and considering that we have a legacy of 140 years, there are certain things that are already ingrained into the brand, and there are certain things that is evolving. And that evolution is also happening because the consumer is saying, hey, I need tech, I need convenience, but I also need trust and reliability when you're going to offer something. So when we look back at it, we said, boss, eventually for an organization, a purpose is something that's going to be your guiding light. And if purpose is going to be a guiding light, we came out with something that is, we think, which is something we can adopt across. And then we crafted our values, which we felt that could be something which could help you into making the purpose come to life. Fundamentally, there were 2 paths that we took. One, where we wanted to go ahead with the brand tagline and communicate. But then we take a step back and said, that's probably putting the cart ahead of the horse. And we said, let's first get the products right. We said the products needs to live the purpose. If I sell a fan today and if I say that the fan needs to be smart and if the fan needs to be responsible with lesser energy consumption, I first need to demonstrate with that and ensure that I'm consistent on that rather than jumping in with the brand tagline and going on an ad campaign and saying, hey, what do we stand for? That's pretty much fancy and probably a greenwash rather than what is being real. So for me, purpose-driven strategy is a reality. And particularly what I call as zillennials, the new age consumers who are coming in, they want to associate with brands which have got a purpose. They want to associate with brand that stands for something. They want to associate with brands that reflect their lifestyle and attitude. And if these are brands that can live that, profits are more an outcome. And it is not that profit can lead what you want to do. When you get this right, profits will definitely follow.
What Tata's did or what the older organizations did, they set up and they had a culture in this place. At least the Indian government is doing something correct at this stage, where whether it's the CSR or the DIE or DEI or the green how you're going to work on the green initiatives, the Indian government is giving certain tax benefits so that the organizations that are currently running the balance sheets or the revenues get some benefits out of it, and these organizations are being trained into a systemic culture of building up these kinds of purposes allocated to their revenue. But going further, if not now, if somebody ran the boat earlier and they did a fantastic job, each organization, however big or small it is, whether it's a product, retail, whatever it is, the vision, mission always has a purpose involved into it. The strategies always have some sort of a purpose into it. At the end of the day, they go down to the market. So something good that is happening here, and that is that the people who are running the organizations are being trained into a culture of building up purpose. And that's what the government's job, and they're playing it well at the same time, and giving the tax benefits to these organizations, and going further. The purpose is being seeped into. So every organization has a purpose. Purposeful strategy, as purpose-driven strategy is what we call is already existing into the culture. And any CEO, any leader, any manager would like to build in the purpose so that people can follow him or follow that in a good perspective. When the market crashes, something changes. And that's the reality where the purpose is tested.
So that is the main point. How do you actually build the purpose into the DNA of the company rather than it just being, led by the market volatility and then move into branding and just take it away from, the authentic purpose? How do you build it into the DNA?
7, 8 years ago, the purpose-driven strategies were nothing else but LinkedIn marketing plans.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you come down over here, it's at least 5 years ago. What the taxation has built in.
So
the
how do you
building
recognize a company with a purpose-driven strategy? Yeah, yeah.
Come to that. So I started my career with Amul.
Uh,
So when I actually joined Amul, they were paying the lowest. So all my like they said, "क्यों join किया? Nestle चले जाए, ITC चले जाए, HUL चले जाए." They were giving 3x salaries kind of thing. And as an MBA graduate, we are in the previous thing. Now you always look at who is giving you higher salary.
Yeah.
So they're very clear. We want to give the best value to our producers. Because this is a farmer cooperative, stakeholders. So they're very clear. We'll give the best price so that we'll get the best milk product. We'll get the best oil. So we are all our farmer cooperatives. We'll give the best price. The second unwritten rule was we'll give the best value to the customer. After that, if something is left behind, then the employees, then the profit. So what happens? Actually, employee don't like it. Initial years, we always think that is not the best place to work because it's not giving me the. So eventually I moved out because somebody else was paying me higher. But if I look back, that organization, when it was working, it was looking like, see, the worry was that, no guy from HUL will ever join Amul because it is almost like a backward growth. You have to come at 1/3 the salary. Nobody, I'm telling 20, 30 years back, nobody will do that kind of move. Even today also, nobody will do that. But they were very clear about the purpose. If you look at today also, the organization maintains that, whether the quality of the product, because never they compromise on the quality of product. Nobody will say that, the Britannia cheese is better than Amul cheese. Nobody will say that, their milk is quality-wise, it is inferior. Obviously, I'm saying they're equally good quality product, but nobody will say on the quality. So, over a long period of time, if you maintain, if you are very clear, like it's like a value-driven system, like the company we mentioned, like a Tata, Godrej, that's a value-driven system. They had a value system. They tried to stick to that. So then the purpose, long-term purpose comes in. The challenge comes in when you start with a purpose, then you realize that, okay, I'm not making enough profit, I need to change it. Or you want to show that, I'm doing it for that area. Like, for example, I want to, like a lot of telecom companies, I also worked in telecom. So a lot of telecom companies come and say that, look, I want to give the best value to the customer. But irrespective, he does not want to give the best value to the customer. He wants to get more market share by reducing the price. And eventually he also increase the price in 3 to 5 years time. So idea is that, if you have a purpose and you stick to it a longer period of time, you will definitely get profit. But the market forces push you so much that you don't have that kind of bandwidth to look at. So that when you are discussing about the companies are like a 50-year-old, 60-year-old when they had the time to take the decision. In current set of companies, it's very difficult to find even 5 examples who are actually done it for last 5 years. They have really stick to their purpose kind of thing. At least in an Indian context, it'll be struggle to find one example.